He brought it up. Sorry.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She is a radio personality in the Bay Area.
Yes.
We won't say where.
We're not going to say where. We'll let you guys figure that out.
Look it up. Google it.
Look it up.
Google it.
Yeah.
And she's awesome because she doesn't belong
you.
to just one station. That's the cool thing about her.
It's like 3, right?
No.
Like 7.
Yeah.
7. But I'm a personality on 3, and then I'm a
Right.
voice for 4.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So give us one of your voices. Sell me this cup.
Yeah,
Sell you that cup.
Sell me that cup.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
I'm gonna close my eyes so I'll hear.
I'll just do what I'll just do.
Yeah, do your radio voice.
Don't do the jingles though. Those are kind of,
What do you want me to do? Like a commercial?
do whatever you go. Do it.
All right, hold on. Let me just see.
She's got to remember what she ordered.
All right. It's so funny. Okay.
Right on the spot,
It's a
right?
grande chai latte, extra hot, no foam, almond milk, no water, whatever. This is
I would swear she's black all of a sudden. What? Dude, she does not sound... She's Filipino, by the way, folks. She did not sound Filipino at that point.
Well, I used to work for
Well,
this
she
one
sounds
station.
Filipino now.
I used to work for this one station,
Uh-huh.
and I speak Tagalog and I speak Spanish. My
Right.
Spanish is not that great, but I can get by. My mother was a Spanish teacher.
In city.
What's that?
In city?
No, actually in the Philippines. She was
Yeah,
raised.
your Spanish is bad.
She was raised. No, she was raised by Spanish-speaking nuns, and it's
Oh,
funny.
what?
So some people will be like, "Your Spanish is bad," but my mom will be like, "I taught you Castilian Spanish, not the other."
So now she's trying to justify.
No,
There's a difference.
because my kid's dad, I was with him for 12 years, so my kids are half Mexican,
Right.
And so I would speak
Raza.
Mexican Spanish
Right.
versus the Spanish my mom would
He's Mexican.
teach me.
Later
And
on, we
so-
have to drop him off at Home Depot.
Oh, so bad.
Hit him. You're closer to
Yes.
Hit him.
I just know that he'd beat me up, so I'm not even gonna go there.
Not
You would hit a woman on camera?
Never.
On camera, off camera.
Dude,
Turn it off.
See how
that's what
specific
if
we are?
Melba ever found out that I hit a woman,
Yeah,
she keeps my kumagongs right beside her bed. The kumagong is like this really heavy stick
yeah.
that's unbreakable, although he broke one. She'll hit me.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, she keeps it right beside of her bed in case I get out of line.
Or
That's
frisky.
awesome.
Or frisky.
I don't want to hear this. I do not want to hear this.
Sorry, Mel. I love you.
Okay, so I used to work for the station, and
Oh, right.
Yes.
I would go to these events,
Uh-huh.
and they would be like, "¿Dónde está Freska?" Right? And then they'd be like, "Oh, she's right there," you know? And they'd be like, "What? Who, that Chinese looking girl?" You know, because they thought they
Right.
would think specifically that I was Mexican.
Right.
And
She
so
looks
they'd
China.
call my house, yeah. Yes, Gina, you know, like to be tripping. And so then they would call me, and they would be like, "Órale, Fresca, hoy el cumpleaños de Selena, blah, blah, blah." You know, they're like,
Wow, she actually sounds Mexican.
and so they
Well,
would,
she does that pretty well.
did
and
that
so
pretty
they
good.
would, and I'd be like, "Okay,
Dude,
yeah."
you should hear her Filipino accent. She does it on. She does it, come on. Now that we're doing it in lingo, you might as well.
What do you want me to say?
Oh, I don't care. Do something your mom would yell at you. Cause
Nag-practice ka ba? Ha? Nag-practice ka mag-piano? Mag-piano ka! That means that you practice your piano, you better play piano right now. And then my parents used to always say this, "Oh, you know what? My daughter, she knows how to play piano." I'm like, "You play piano?" Like at parties.
yeah,
Just show you off.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, parents.
and I'd be at the
Filipino
piano
parents
like, "Oh."
always.
So is that why you became essentially a performer?
No, actually, no. I loved talking, and I was mesmerized by hearing a voice
Yourself?
being played back, and then I would interview my family, and I would have. Then my dad got a karaoke machine. Big surprise!
Big surprise.
It was the
Filipino Daily City.
JVC. It was a JVC K99 that had an extra space cabinet.
She even knows.
Yes.
He
Yep.
remembers the
And
model.
they had the
and
LED lights that went
Dude,
like this.
That was top of the line back
It
then.
was a little 8-track player with your music, and then you played it. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, and then we got one of those,
Right.
and I would multi-track my stuff because I also played clarinet after I played piano. Well, they made me play piano when I was 4. I had 10 years of private lessons, and in the middle of playing private lessons for that,
Okay,
I also
we're gonna
played
talk about that.
clarinet.
Right.
And then we'd get these pieces from school, and they'd have like clarinet 1, clarinet 2, clarinet 3, and so I was like, "Oh, I could play that."
She played all
so,
three.
Yeah, and so I I would record one, and then I would play that. That would be my playback, and I would get a new tape. And so I would play that and then play my little thing. So then I'd have harmonies, and I would get that and then stack it again and
She's
play
her
that.
own orchestra.
So I would. So that's how I started doing my own production work
Nice.
with my little K99
So
JVC.
it was the production part you like more than the actual playing part?
No, I liked all of it. So I would do all of it.
Right.
Wow.
So I would.
So why don't you have your own radio station at this point? I mean,
No, but I have my own studio at home. So I
yeah,
started
that's
making
awesome.
beats and stuff when I was like 19.
Right.
So
I got my first
6
pair
years
of
ago?
turntables. Yeah, I got my first
6
pair of
years ago.
turntables from one of the guys on our track team.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I bought that off of him.
I say, we know a guy too.
Yeah.
God, we know too many people.
We know too
So it
many
was really
people.
cool. Yeah,
you know, it's
it was
funny
fun.
because all the people that we get to meet on this show,
Yeah,
I mean, we've been bounced around. I mean, everybody is like, hey, we need this, oh, we need that. I'm like, holy cow, what do we do? You know?
yeah.
I mean, we could start our own giant production if we really want to.
That's
but
awesome.
we like the simpleness of this.
yeah.
I mean, that's all I use. If you ever watch the shows, it's all done off of that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, they just have
Editing,
a little
sound,
adapter
all
and
that.
everything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I want to do some work with you. I tried to get you in a movie that we were trying to do, and that, you know,
Sour note, let's leave it at that.
yeah, it was a sour. We'll talk about that later on when we're off there.
We don't want to
It's called-
slander
it was-
anyone.
I remember the name of it.
Yeah,
Vicious.
Which is also, you remember Vicious Styles? Alex's label.
Oh.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I was part of that. I actually managed Alasia or Trish. I don't know
what?
if you know her.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she sang My Fiesta and
My
what's her-
Fiesta.
Yeah, and she, they did all the
Yeah.
Fiesta circuits and.
Yeah.
But Alex, he and a couple of his friends opened or started a label. They did Pure Harmony.
Oh, wow.
If you remember those guys, and but this is going back in the day, like back in that Jocelyn.
Enriquez does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but never again will I do that stuff
Unless it's with her.
unless it's with you,
Yeah.
dude. Everybody in the Bay Area knows her. All the
It's a
Filipinos.
lie. It's not.
And apparently a lot
Every
of Mexicans
fiesta,
too.
no matter what town it is, and the Mexicans too, right? But
Yeah,
all,
but then they meet me, they think I'm Chinese.
yeah, all of the
We're
all the
culturally
fiestas.
Oh,
sensitive.
yeah.
Let's
So
put it that
yeah,
way.
and so yeah, that's so funny because when I met my kid's dad's grandma, I keep thinking I have my pockets.
That's what you get for putting on her shirt.
I know, like
Thank you. Shameless
so
plug.
he was like, okay, so ella's China. No, abuela, ella's Filipina. Filipina. She's Filipina. So I was like, okay, my really broken Spanish, right? She was like, okay. I'm like, okay, abuelita, okay. Filipinas, aquí está. Like I'm just doing like this map, this like this.
Like she's picturing all
Yeah,
of Asia in her
okay,
head.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, China, aquí está. I don't even know like my
Geography.
my geography, and I'm like, Filipinas, aquí está. Like it's a bar, right? And she's like, oh, okay.
Think you went to the
I was
Middle
like,
East.
soy Filipina, and so this is what I said. I go, ¿Eres salvadoreña? Ay, no, Fran, no. And I'm like, okay, porque soy Filipina, no soy China. And then she was all like,
She got it.
oh, got it.
Wow.
And so after I, said that, she was like, oh, okay, I got it.
Okay, you're not
So
Chinese.
then it was like, okay, so eres China? I'm like, no. Get it? So
That's funny.
yeah, but she kind of understood, and it was a really great learning experience where we would really,
Culture clash.
but I mean, speaking Spanish and then being able to communicate with my mom more in a different language, which helped because she has Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
Oh.
And
How's
so
she doing, by the way?
Yeah.
she's okay. She's nonverbal now, and she that can't walk, and so she's bedridden, but she's still kicking.
There you go.
But so as her memory started to fade, I talked to her in English and say something, Mom, how are you feeling today? And then she'd say, she wouldn't respond. And so I'd say it in Tagalog, and I'd say, okay, Mom, kamusta ka na? How are you today? Kamusta ka ngayon? And she won't answer. And I was like, Mommy, ¿cómo te sientes hoy? And then she'd be like, ay, bien, gracias. And then she'd speak to me in
'cause
Spanish.
yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
the one thing that would stay with her.
Yeah, and even with my kids, but my kids would be like, "Oh, I told you to do this. And they'd be, hey, come over here. And I think, I'm like, ¿Qué te dije? And then she'd be like, they'd run over there. They'd be like, doing whatever they needed to do. So.
Because it reminded them of dad.
No. It would remind them of their abuela.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
She was the mean one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was a disciplinarian.
Strict.
Yes.
Strict, not mean.
Yeah.
Strict.
Same difference to me. Isn't
No, because I have to be the strict one in my parental
Dude,
unit.
your kids push you around like.
No, they don't.
Oh my, come on.
They push you around, which is a different story.
The old man.
I let them do it to you.
The old man.
Because I'll say flat
His
out
daughter-
no in front of them.
His oldest daughter, Dad, you're an idiot. It's like that. They just like,
We do have those conversations.
I'm like, what? Oh my lord.
Well, because she doesn't do it in a disrespectful way.
No.
It's poignant to what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, and even yesterday she said, Dad, the way you raise your kid is the right way. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, that's who you are. If you try to do it differently, then it's not who you are. I'm like, damn, my daughter just dropped some knowledge on me.
But there's a connection there that
Yeah.
like a bond that you both share that they understand each other's boundaries.
Oh,
she
she has-
understands Dad's boundary, which
Yes.
is for sure.
She has
Yeah.
2 cool daughters.
I've heard.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I hung out with
hey.
them one time. When we were
Oh,
in San
I thought you
Francisco.
have two.
No, I do too. But
Yeah.
we're talking about your daughter.
Oh,
now.
okay.
We're talking about your daughter now. You have two
That's
cool
good. And you were
daughters
like, I
too.
heard, and I'm like, wait, what are you talking about your daughter? Of course you know.
Her daughters are pretty cool.
How old are they?
Now they're 14 and 16.
Oh God.
Yeah, someone's going to be graduating next
The
year.
14-year-old thinks she's the oldest though.
Oh, she's very much the caretaker.
Really?
Very much
Oh,
the
yeah.
caretaker. Yeah.
Was that the same with you and your sister?
No, I had 2 moms
Ooh.
because she was 10 years older than me.
Oh.
I was like,
That's never
surprise!
any good.
Yeah, my dad used to say, Brad, how come you guys 10 years apart? And then, I lost my formula. And I'm like, that's gross.
My poor
Why are you saying that in front of me? So awful. So gross. I was like, I'm going to walk out of this
So I
conversation
happen to
right now.
know you used to live in Hawaii.
Yes.
And I know you love Hawaii.
I love Hawaii. I miss my friends and the family. I
Shout
made
out.
there.
Say hi.
What's up? Aloha to my ohana in Hawaii. I love and miss you guys.
She used to be a radio host over there as well.
Yeah. So that's where I got
This is
my
my
start
surprise club.
here, and then and then I moved there for 3 years. It was just the best experience. Super
Wow,
broke
3
as hell
years.
there. I had this really janky studio. It was horrible. It was horrible.
And I loved it.
It was horrible, and I loved it.
That was the best place for her.
I tell people this all the time. It was very humble living. I wanted so much to get out of my parents' house because they were very, protective, very,
Right.
Asian
Typical
protective. You
Filipinos,
can't leave the house and,
Yeah.
whatever.
Where are you going now?
Who's
You
going
don't-
to be there? Is it drugs
What's-
there? Is
what's
it
the phone
drugs,
number?
drinking?
Whose
So,
mother is that?
yeah. And so I had this studio. I tell this story all the time because it was a home that they converted into studios, into the
Right.
rooms. So my room, they just put some illegal bathroom in there. And the way you know it was not up to code
Of course, never.
was because you'd sit on the toilet and your knees were like this on the toilet, on the wall. I mean, you would hit the wall.
Right.
So if you needed to use the bathroom, you had to be sideways on the toilet.
You could have straddled it.
Oh no. No, then it would have been one of these. Like, not gonna do that.
I never
Not
thought
gonna
I'd
do that.
see the day that we'd see Freska like this because you hear her on the radio so prim and proper. She's like, yeah.
You didn't
Yeah,
hear her voice
I'm not about to
earlier?
do that.
You said she sounded black. I was like, no, she just sounded prim and proper. I don't know what you're talking about.
See,
So-
her voice is funny because I swear to God, the first time I heard you on the radio, and
Sultry.
before I even met you, I was like, dang, she's hot.
It sounded like
Dude,
I think so.
See?
that? Aw, thank you.
No, you have such a nice, sexy voice. You're thinking on the other side, oh, this girl's gotta be hot.
And
Then I
you
saw her.
saw, you're like, oh.
Then I said, oh. Because
You're like, oh.
It's China.
it's Tina, yeah.
Hey, it's Gina. Oh, okay. That's so funny.
The first place I met her was here at this gym.
Yeah,
Really?
and I was going through radiation, I think,
Yeah, she
or
was.
chemo
yeah,
or
doing
something like
chemo.
that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk
what
about
was
that?
that?
Yeah, of course.
Good. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I was at the age of 39. I'm 47 now. So when I was 39,
You were
I
25 a little while ago.
yeah. I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Right.
And that's when I was working out here. I wanted to compete. So it was like, I got injured doing jujitsu with my shoulder. I came here because I wanted to rehab it. And then while I was rehabbing it, Futaba and I were like, oh, maybe I'll just train to do like a figure competition or something like that. So I was really trying to like get in the game, do that.
Are you still doing that?
No.
Good figure.
No, well, I lost 20 pounds. Anyways, that's another story.
We're gonna talk about that.
Sorry.
So, yeah. And so, and I had met you here.
Right.
And I think you were teaching, you were already
Yes,
teaching here.
I was teaching.
And
that's how I was, then I started to explain. You know me, ever the salesman, so I'm trying to throw my pitch at her.
I'm trying to hear her story, not yours. So.
No, go ahead. Finish it.
so that's how we met. And, I was like crazy tired, going through chemo, lost all my hair. And I'd be here kicking the bag, because martial arts, that's what makes me happy.
Is that how you kept your focus, by the way?
Keeps me centered. Yeah, and I think
I'm curious, right?
Yeah.
You're going through chemo, you're losing your hair.
Yeah.
Very depressing time, I imagine, for you.
Yeah, in some aspects,
And even then, your mom was already sick.
Yeah.
So you had all these
Single
things
mom.
going against you, single mom.
Yeah, then lost my full-time job, but I was still working while I was going through
Right.
treatment.
But yet, when I met you,
Yeah.
you're still happy-go-lucky, very upbeat and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because I think
That was crazy, though.
after you go through something like that, or you're going through something like that, there's going to be people that do the pity party, and then there's going to be people that are like, dude, you know what? I'm alive.
Right.
So let's just find the beauty in that.
Well, and that was the energy that I felt from you when we were talking, and I felt like, because you and I got along very very fast, right?
Yeah,
we all of a sudden became friends just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that she decided to meet some strange guy that she barely knows at a park who had sticks. She's like, okay,
He told you he was bringing weapons and you still shut up?
Well,
Exactly.
I was like, what does this old man know? Just kidding.
Old man, see?
No, I know, it's the influence.
You
Okay.
must have been talking to your daughters.
We are bad influence.
No, it was great, and martial arts really helped me through a lot of things, and it exposes so much of your inner person, and so, and that's one thing I was talking to somebody just the other day. I was talking to Casey Jackson, and well, not just Casey, but his dad Eugene Jackson also, but we were talking about how what martial arts means to me, and it is a very personal thing. It was a very personal thing, and when I would spar, and this was when I was going through the breakup with my kid's dad. We had been together for 12 years with 2 kids, stuff like that. I was mourning my dad's death because he had passed away. Still, it was just bad, and so sparring to me, that's when I was like, wow. The same things I do in life, I do here.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, you realize that you only have a certain amount of time to make a decision, and that split second of hesitation either means whether you're going to get scored on, or in real life, like you're going to get smashed by life or whatever the hardship is. So it's either you're going to keep going, and whether you get smashed or whatever, you're just going to, what choice do you
Stand
have?
back up.
What choice do you have in life?
Let me ask you this then, because that way of thinking then begs to the question that how many times were you smashed down?
Oh,
that you were able to
in
get
life.
up? Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean,
I think the first time. Oh, this is bad, but I talk about it. And what time do you have? Because I have to be.
11:10.
Oh, only okay.
We got a lot of
We're
time.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say the very first hardship was when I got married in Hawaii. I was 23, and
the marriage was the hardship?
I was no, I tried to kill myself afterwards.
No.
When we got divorced.
Oh, okay.
We were going through the divorce.
Wait, you got married and right into a divorce? Okay,
Yes, because
explain
3 months later he got some lady pregnant.
Oh, okay.
So this is the first marriage prior to your...
I never got married ever again.
Oh.
So, and so I woke up from that, and I realized that at that time I had been going through depression from when I was a child, witnessing all that stuff.
Yeah,
but you
trauma.
think it's normal, right? That's normal life for you because you see it every day. And so I remember my friends would have I'd be at their houses, and then their parents would say goodnight, and then they'd go in the room, and because they're gonna go to bed, right? And I'm like, disgusted that I'm like, your parents sleep in the same room? Like, that's disgusting. But not knowing that it was my house that was dysfunctional, right? Like, that is showing love, right? And so I learned how to handle situations the same way in my house. So it was like, you know, my dad would get crazy and my mom would be like very shy and like, because she knows that she couldn't take him. And I was just kind of, and then I grew up with the whole like, oh, you're not going to get over on me, you know, kind of thing. Like, but not knowing that that was also a horrible way to behave too, where it's kind of like, you can just walk away. You know, and instead I chose to like engage in something that I had no mental tools to help myself with or help diffuse the situation. And so that was the very first hardship. Waking up in the hospital just going, oh my God, thank you that I'm alive.
Wow.
And so at that moment, I was like, I knew I would never, no matter how hard things got, no matter that, I would never try to take my own life, because it's
Good
like,
for you. Well, I'm glad you didn't, because
you know,
I like talking
but some people don't.
Well, she failed.
But some people don't ever get there, right? Some people don't understand that, and they feel the desperation, you know? And so I would say the second time was when I was with my kid's dad, and we were having a long distance relationship, and I didn't realize how bad my self-confidence was. And I was in radio doing mornings in Sacramento and doing this, I mean, it was just really bad. And I would be up for like 3 or 4 days straight. And then I'd just, you know, crash, pass out. But I would go to my therapist and I don't know what's happening. And I would call them like, I'm just crying and I don't know how to turn it off. And I don't know what's happening. You know, and so that was, I think, they would ask me like over the phone, like, do you feel like harming yourself? And I'm like,
never again.
And now I'm like, and then I tell them, I go, no, I actually attempted a long time ago. And ever since then, I knew that I would never do it again. I go, but I am feeling the same kind of desperation, but I don't know where it stemmed from, and I don't know how to turn it off. And so that's when, so I was able to articulate a little bit more of like my feelings.
But isn't that the secret to all of this stuff, though, is to be able to talk it out, even just to yourself a lot of times, where people will go to these, because, you know, I was when I was back in school, I used to write, I write a lot. And I remember when I was really bummed out or was in dark places, I would write. I had this thing called Journals of a Madman.
I would write my own obituary.
Obituaries.
That's how like morbid, like my dark hole would be.
But see, and that's exactly my point. You start writing things down, and what you're doing is you're expressing yourself.
Yes.
You know, not, I mean, somewhat indirectly, but you are talking about yourself and you're writing, you know, all these things. And I was doing the same thing, because my stories were really dark. But that's how I was